Hello and welcome everyone to the National Veterans Small Business Coalition virtual training series. We're thrilled to welcome today Kristy Pittman from Peak Performance Strategies. She's here to talk to us today about mastering facility contracts. Yes, everyone, we have not forgotten about the promise for more AI classes. Kristy and I are working on that, so stay tuned for those in the future. But today, Kristy, we are so thrilled to have you here to talk about this topic. A little bit of information, everyone, on Kristy's background and her bio. Please reach out if you have questions on either AI or on the facility contracting world. Kristy, I'm really excited to hear about the pearls that you have and you're going to share with us on this this niche market. I'm going to call it a niche sector within GovCon. So with that, I am going to go into mic stealth mode and I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Okay, awesome. Oh my gosh, Marie, thank you so much for having me today. And I am just so honored to speak to this incredible veteran community at the National Veteran Small Business Coalition. So thank you so much for having me today. And my goal for today is just to get your membership so excited about landing contracts at VA facilities. And meanwhile, show them how to have fun building their business and help them, once they're building their big businesses, how they can create jobs for other veterans. And then I want to inspire and motivate and teach and train your community on how to win these awesome VA contracts. So this is going to be fun and practical, and today's topic is winning VA facility contracts. That includes construction, maintenance, renovation, security, and more. So these contracts help the VA hospitals run smoothly and profitably. And so by the end of this presentation, you'll see how you can do what I did to make money by helping your local VA hospitals run successfully and efficiently. And you'll know the nuts and bolts on how to get started. So Marie, do you know how much the VA spent with veteran-owned companies last year?
I was muted. I don't have that number on the top of my head, but it looks like you have the answer for
I
us.
have the answer just for you. $9.7 billion in fiscal year 2024. That's the total amount of awards that were awarded to service-disabled veteran-owned and veteran-owned small businesses. And last time I checked, there were only 35,000 certified veteran-owned companies. So do the math, and you can see there's plenty of money to go around. So lots of my clients are proud recipients of that $9.7 billion spend, and I hope many of your members are as well. John D is one of my clients. He's pretty amazing. He's a Navy veteran that turned entrepreneur. He's actually started as an account engineer at a global water treatment company, and he launched his own water treatment services company. His first VA contract was for reverse osmosis system. Get that, a reverse osmosis system at Columbia, South Carolina VA. And that contract value was $83,000. And since then, he expanded into Legionella testing, chiller and boiler maintenance, cooling tower and ice machine cleaning. And you know what? He has won over 50 VA facility contracts to the tune of $4.2 million. And it's just a powerful example of what's possible for veteran-owned businesses. And today, we're going to talk about how your membership and your veterans can do the same for themselves. So here's what we're going to cover today: an overview of the landscape of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, how hospitals, the VA hospitals, are like cities. They have common infrastructure, utilities, support systems, and where you can fit in. Understanding and preparing for VA facility contracts, and the types of products and services the VA procures for their facilities. And then I'm going to share with you 10 steps to success, how to win and fulfill contracts. But before I dive deeper into the VA's landscape, I'd like to share a little bit about my own experience. So like many of you, I didn't dream of becoming a government contractor as a little girl. I just wanted to be like a fairy princess, right? Well, that career path of being a government contractor was not even on my radar. Me and my business partner started out with our company specializing in maintenance, repair, and operations products and services. He's a veteran, and like many of you, he can fix anything when no one else can, right? So physically, we went to our local VA hospitals. We met the right people. We actually started getting orders for under 3 grand by using credit cards. We got them, and then we started that way, and when we got them all the time, and then we earned the trust of our buyers, which helped us to earn larger opportunities. And then buyers referred me all around the hospital. So I was able to work with several people all around the hospital. And ultimately, they referred me all around the state and then the nation. So we got calls for emergencies, which, emergencies may not be a good thing, but that was music to my ears because it usually resulted in a sole source contract. So that's how we built our company. But we built a lot of relationships was really what it was, where it started. And that's what it's all about. We sold over $10 million in products and services, and then we sold that business. So we contribute a lot of our success to Public Law 109-461. So Marie, do your members know that there was a law that was passed to help veterans in business?
I hope they know.
Well, I bet they do because they are your members and you guys you do a
right.
great job of training them. But just to kind of recap, right? Public Law 109-461, it's the Vets First Contracting Program. And it was designed to ensure that veteran-owned firms can compete for sole source contracts at the VA. So the VA buys from veterans first, and the VA's goal is to award contracts to veteran-owned companies and it's before non-veteran-owned companies. So that's what the great news is. So additionally, with this new administration, veterans are a national priority. So this says our nation's security, prosperity, and freedom would not be possible without our veterans. That's what President Donald Trump said on May 9th through his executive order. This administration is positioning veterans at the center of federal policy, creating more business and contracting opportunities for veteran-owned companies that provide relevant solutions. So the good news is that the Vets First contracting program remains very strong. So our business was successful because I learned how to get contracts with the federal government. I learned how lucrative it is working with the federal government, especially as a certified SDVOSB firm, a priority for the VA and for this administration. And then after selling our company, I decided to start a coaching business. So now I get to do what I love, inspiring, motivating, and teaching veterans how to do what I did. So my goal is to help your membership, your members, build their $10 million business in a lot less time than it took me. So I'm going to give you that information today that I wish that I had when I first started. So why the VA? Well, these are the answers. They spend a lot of money. They're required by law to buy from you. They need companies just like yours to help them maintain and operate their facilities. And they most likely have facilities right down the street from where you are located, right there in your zip code. Here's the VISN map. VISN. Okay, that's another fun thing about government contracting is all the fun acronyms. VISN stands for Veteran Integrated Service Networks, and there are 23 of them. I'm located in Florida, right outside of Orlando, and that's considered VISN 8, and they call it the Sunshine Network. So I actually love that because I love the sunshine in Florida. So this is the map, and just see for your members wherever they're located, and they'll be able to determine which VISN they are in. So the VA purchased, I love this. The VA purchases most of its requirements for direct delivery through its local or regional procurement office. So you're encouraged to contact each facility for inclusion in its procurement process. I love that, right? So you're encouraged to contact each facility, your local facility, to win contracts. And this is the link where that information is actually stated. So in Florida, there are 7 major VA medical centers, and these are large hospital campuses. Tons of ongoing contracting needs for maintenance, security, repair, all kinds of stuff. And we'll get into that. There are 134 outpatient clinics, also known as CBOCs, all across the state. They serve veterans in smaller towns or, right outside the big city. Oftentimes, though, the CBOCs are the contracts are managed by the parent hospital or the regional office. So Florida also has 9 VA cemeteries. So don't forget the cemeteries. Those are managed by the National Cemetery Administration. And they're great for landscaping, maintenance, groundskeeping, and other facility services. So within just one state, we have over 150 facilities, and that's just in Florida. Nationally, the VA operates 1,573 facilities. That's a combination of the hospitals, clinics, and cemeteries. In 2025 alone, they spent about $13 billion just to maintain and repair those facilities. The opportunity is sitting right in your zip code, and most veterans don't even see it. And it's not because they can't win, but it's because no one ever showed them the system for how to even get into the room. So now that you have a good idea of how the VA is set up and how there's most likely a VA hospital near you, then let's dive deeper into how the VA operates just like a city. Just like a city where you are, Marie, like in Albuquerque. So in Albuquerque, what do you think that the city needs to operate to service their residents? So Marie, think about all the bills that you get in the mail.
For the city of Albuquerque, I'm going to say, golly, I don't know, 20 million maybe, if I'm throwing in parks and libraries and water and electricity and road maintenance and then safety, police and fire and first responders.
Yeah.
The EMTs and all of those folks. It's going to be pretty substantial.
Perfect. So all those things that you listed, the VA has. So the VA, the medical centers. So that's why I like to say that the VA, the hospitals are very similar to cities and what they need to operate. So like you had said, there's recycling, there's garbage collection, there's water, we have to have clean water that our cities deliver to us, right? The electricity, cable. So all of these things that our cities do, it's very similar to a VA hospital. So they're kind of like mini cities. So what does the VA need to operate and maintain hospital facilities? A lot of those things that we just talked about, right? So maintenance and repair services, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. One of my clients actually performed circuit breaker testing at his local VA. Every 3 years, it seems like he wins this contract over and over again, and it's about $100,000 contract. Construction and renovation, flooring. So one of my clients just got a credit card order, and credit cards now, there's a $10,000 limit. So he got the credit card order for $9,999 for Cove Base. We didn't even know what that was. We figured it out, but he was able to provide that to the VA it's a flooring product. Environmental services, waste management, janitorial, security, just like you talked about. They have on-site security guards, just like we have, police in our city. Landscaping and grounds maintenance. Another one of my clients actually won a contract to install fencing And it was just below $25,000. And that's kind of a magic number, $25,000, because with simplified procedures and fewer regulatory requirements, the procurement process for contracts under $25,000 can be expedited. And that allows the VA to be able to meet their urgent needs more quickly and efficiently. My clients have won many contracts to provide like pressure washing, window washing, lawn mowing, tree trimming, all that stuff. Then energy and utilities, water. One of my clients won an SDVOSB set aside contract for an elevated water tank rehab to the tune of $1.4 million. And then specialty services, so elevator maintenance and fire protection services, food services. The VA awards long-term contracts to maintain and repair elevators. So many of these service contracts are 5-year contracts. And this is a huge reason why companies love working with the government, long-term contracts. So it's almost like there's money in the bank, almost, but these long-term contracts are definitely a big reason why people choose to work with the government. And then there's ancillary services, signage, etc. And they also buy consulting and professional services like A&E and engineering. And don't forget the cemeteries. One of my clients won a $30,000 contract to install control markers to identify different areas within the cemetery. Pretty cool. Marie, can you add to that?
Well, there's a lot with cemeteries. You have not only the landscaping, but you do have infrastructure because you have roads. You have software systems because looking up individuals, that's software. And I think we already mentioned janitorial services, definitely. So there is a lot with the national cemeteries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. So your local VA hospital, here's the big answer, Marie. Your local VA hospital spends on average $16.5 million a year on the exact work that your members already do. $16.5 million a year per hospital, and that's on average. And then with this new political climate and with DOGE, creating unprecedented unpredictability in federal contracting. But here's the good news. So the president's FY20 fiscal year 26 budget proposes a 4% increase in funding for the Department of Veterans Affairs. So with $3.3 billion specifically allocated to improvements in medical care, both at VA medical centers and in the community. So while some federal agencies, and you're probably seeing a lot of this too, but with some federal agencies, they're experiencing major budget cuts and chaos. So VA medical centers are one of the few receiving increased funding. So that just means more construction, more facility upgrades, and more non-recurring maintenance projects. I fondly call those NRM projects, non-recurring maintenance contracts. That just projects, which ultimately means more contracts. So we are here today because I want your members, I want veterans to win VA contracts. So hopefully by seeing all of the stuff that the VA buys for their facilities, they can see exactly where they fit in so they can win contracts and make money. And the projects I shared with you are locally awarded by VA engineering and contracting offices. And they often go to veteran-owned firms through simplified acquisition or set-aside methods. So to help your membership do just that, I'm going to share my 10 vital steps to success. So here are my 10 steps to success that I use when I work with my clients. Get ready. Learn how to work with your VA. Learn how the buyers find you. Make sure that you are found and that you are found correctly when they find you. So you're going to determine your approach. Are you going to go about it passively or actively? I recommend actively. Gather intelligence. We're going to research and having discussions with agency representatives. Demonstrate your value, build relationships, win and fulfill contracts, and network. Find a mentor, attend events like the events at NVSBC, and get involved. Join the board, get involved. And then number 10 is be informed. So here's what you're going to need to put in place. Marie, have you ever heard of the Bail team?
No,
If you can answer this, I'll give you $20.
No,
The
I
Bail.
have not heard of the Bail team.
Okay, the Bail team is your banker, accountant, insurance agent, and lawyer. Bail.
Okay.
So when it comes to your financial needs, look at financing, your insurance, your bonding, having a great relationship with your banker and your accountant. How are you going to access money? Credit cards with high spending limits. In fact, I love my Amex because my Amex rewards actually pays for my Christmas vacations. That's fun.
Wow.
And then legal. It's best to have a lawyer who's familiar with government contracting and also familiar with the FAR and the VAR. When it comes to HR and professional employment organizations, HR is for human resources, there are certain labor law requirements. There's recruitment, there's payroll, there's policies and procedures. There's things to consider like quality and safety procedures, and also be prepared for background checks. So look into those things for your HR. STV and VOSV certification. I'm sure that all of your members have their certification, but that's definitely a way that you want to get ready for your VA to win VA contracts. So Tony and Scott are my clients, and they've won $1.8 million in contracts. In my book, and I'll mention my book a little bit later, Phil Christie, who's a major VA leader, he says, if a company can consistently show up and do a great job, a windfall of opportunities might come to them. And I've actually experienced this firsthand, and so have Tony and Scott. Tony and Scott landed a $90,000 contract to replace window gaskets. But anyway, they had to replace window gaskets at a VA hospital, and there were 600 windows. And some of the windows were really tough to access. They kind of had to climb over cabinets or remove blinds, and they were just hard to access. And some of the windows didn't even open. So even though this was a little complicated, Tony found it fulfilling. He just loves being on site and building relationships with all the guys, all the VA employees that are in the facilities and in charge of the facilities. And he says, all I have to do is show up. And inevitably, the guys ask me for a quote. And this happens almost every time he's at the VA. So I bring this up because he found that financing and bonding were critical to scaling and being able to keep up with those 12 contracts worth almost $2 million. And that just goes to show exactly what Phil Christie said. There could be a windfall. There's no guarantee, but if you're doing a great job, it's possible. So you're going to show up, build trust, do a great job, and be ready to scale. And he was ready, financing and bonding in place. So the final tip here is don't get in over your head and be unable to fulfill your contract, because that's a fast way to end your government contracting career. So get your bail ready.
Yep, totally agree.
Right, awesome. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to work with the VA. So first thing, go to the VA's small business website. Find your OSDBU and meet with them. What is OSDBU? Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. And you can find them by clicking on that blue highlighted right by that blue arrow, the federal OSDBU, the small business liaisons. That's what you're going to be looking for, your local small business liaison. And it's their job to help you to learn how to work with their agency. So that's the first thing to do. So visit the website, get very familiar with their website, how to work with the VA, and then reach out to your small business representative. Visit the YouTube channel, and you can see that with the orange arrow. They have a great YouTube channel that you can watch so many trainings on how to work with the VA. And they also have a LinkedIn group. It's the VA OSDBU. So with the YouTube channel and the LinkedIn, just look up VA OSDBU and you'll see activities and trainings and things that they're really going to help you get ahead with the VA. So there's lots of great information on these sites, and that's really just a place to start. There's so many more ways to learn how to work with the VA, but that, again, it's a place to start. There's also the Veteran Entrepreneurial Portal at www.va.gov/osdbu/entrepreneur and / They have resources, support, and guidance available for veteran entrepreneurs. And then there's Pathfinder, and Pathfinder is awesome. It was created to evaluate the use of the latest technology and trends for the best products and services for veterans. So they want companies who are innovating to get onto Pathfinder and let the VA know what it is that you're innovating for veterans. So you can learn more about Pathfinder and the VEP on their YouTube channel as well. So step number 3, how do buyers find you? You have to have a robust online presence. SAM.gov, I'm sure all of your members are registered already on SAM.gov. And you want to have a really good SBA profile, also known as the Dynamic Small Business Search. You want to make sure that you have really great keywords, especially keywords that the government is looking for. Past performance, and if you have past performance with any federal agency, that's what you want to put into your past performance section. And also a great, powerful capabilities narrative. And then you want a website with a government landing page specifically for the federal buyers. They love it when they visit your website and they see a tab or a landing page specifically for them. So that just shows that you're a serious government contractor. And then consider SEO optimization and maybe hire a good consultant that can help you with that. My client Danny is being found often because he has great SEO optimization. The federal buyers they find his website and they just call him out of the blue. So also social media is a great thing for you to do. It's a great online platform to show off your expertise. You can become a guru. You can post and share on LinkedIn. And the more you post and share and just demonstrate your expertise, you may very likely hear from a federal buyer. So step 4 is determining your approach. And we're going to first, there's passive and active. And first I'm going to address passive. Most passive approaches start with SAM.gov. And that's where people search for opportunities with the VA and other government agencies. The passive approach is bidding on solicitations cold, just going at it cold. 80% of these opportunities are not even on SAM. And so many people they think that this is all there is, but there's so much more. So there's 80%. So that means only 20% of these opportunities are actually on SAM. So there's 80% that are not even there. So we don't want you wasting a lot of time and throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. But it is important. It is going to be a part of your strategy where you do bid cold, but this is not the only strategy. And also, while you're on SAM.gov, make sure that you get notified of opportunities that are pertinent to you. So let's talk more about my favorite. This is the active approach. This is where the gold is. This is what will help you position yourself to what I call get the call. Get the call for quotes. These are the opportunities that don't go out on SAM. You want to get ahead of the acquisitions before they even hit SAM. You want to demonstrate your value. You want to demonstrate who buys what you sell. I'm sorry, you want to determine who buys what you sell and then build relationships with those people who buy what you sell. And I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but these are the main points on how to proceed in this market with an active approach so that you can get the call. So, number 5, gather insightful intelligence. Once you've decided to pursue this market with an active approach, you're going to need to gather intelligence. You're going to get this from the research that you're going to do and from discussions that you'll be having. You're going to bid, like we just talked about. You're going to bid, but you're going to bid smart. And if you lose, request a debrief. And when you do bid, make sure it's very limited and targeted to exactly what it is that you want to do. And by losing, there is no failure. I learned that failure equals feedback. And I also heard that the word fail, FAIL, means first attempt in learning. So when you don't win, that's a great opportunity to learn and to request a debrief. And you can learn so much by having a debrief with the contracting officer. So the forecast, you're going to look for construction MATOC, the multiple award task order contract. It's a special type of IDIQ, which is an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract where there are multiple awardees. But you can also look at acquisition.gov to learn more about forecasts for all different agencies, not just the VA. And on agency websites, you can learn all about what they're going to be buying. So just look for these forecasts. Past contracts, you learn so much from past contracts. You can find out more on FPDS and USA Spending, and you can even make a FOIA request. FOIA. Freedom, I'm all these acronyms. Freedom of Information Act, that's what that stands for. So you can make a request. It's kind of a last resort kind of thing, but that is an option. You want to identify the key contacts. That's the OSDBUs, the small business liaisons or representatives, the contracting officers, program managers, end users, any stakeholders, and definitely prime contractors. And you can Google organizational charts to find a lot of this information. Just Google, the buying offices. So another great way to get information and to start actually getting to know the VA and the people at the VA is to go in person, find department supervisors, find the prime contractors because you want to have good partnerships with primes. You can do subcontracting with them and all kinds of partnering opportunities. You can find the primes on USA Spending and on FPDS, but if you're on site, you can find the primes easily. They usually wear a collared shirt with a logo on it, or you just look for the trailers on site. Those are prime contractors. So you need to gather information and do research. Take time to do this. If you do this just for 1 hour a day, it's going to make a world of difference. So now that you have a ton of intelligence and know who your key contacts are, here's what you're going to talk about. These are key points for the discussion points that you're going to have with agency representatives. You want to talk about the agency's key initiatives and their challenges. What are their challenges? That is going to be gold for you to find out. Goals and objectives. How do they buy what you sell? I remember when I first started, a lot of buyers said to me, "Oh, we only buy off the GSA schedule. So if you're not on the GSA, we can't buy from you." Well, I found out that's not necessarily true. Most everything I sold was not on the GSA schedule. So you're able to discuss pertinent opportunities in their forecast, understand who the key personnel are, and ask for contact information. Request facilitation of capabilities briefings with decision makers. You can do capabilities briefings, and sometimes they're called lunch and learns, an opportunity for you to talk about a new technology or a new way to decrease the toxic fumes from paint. So you can have these like we call them lunch and learn. So make sure that you always follow up and ask often how you should connect with them. Go ahead, Marie. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just
Oh,
agreeing, yeah, the capability briefing and how you can help solve problems for the
mhm.
agency, how you can make their life better.
Yes. How you can make their make their jobs easier, help them sleep at night, and we can also make them look like the hero, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's my goal. And that's what I tell them. Our goal is to make you look like the hero. So, and you know what they say? Kristy, you made us look like a hero.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really fun, really fun. So, actually, one of my other clients, Andrea, she has this research thing down to an art. She shows up at her meetings fully prepared. She knows exactly what she wants to accomplish. She's on a mission when she goes and meets with these buyers. And the buyers, and you probably know this, Marie, because you are a small business person at the Department of Energy, but when you have someone come to you who's so prepared and they know all about the agency, her buyers and they're so delighted with her level of preparation. And it just enables them to have a super productive meeting with someone who is well educated on their agency and how it works. So she doesn't have to sit through that the tedious directions and instruct, like, go to this website, register here, make sure you visit this link, ensure you have all you need, blah, 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 blah. It's like instead of starting from step 1, she starts at step 7. Can you relate to that, Marie?
I totally can relate to that. So those are gems when, you're in the small business office and all of a sudden somebody comes in and they're targeted, they're well prepared, and they know where they fit within the agency or within the laboratory that they are approaching. It just it's like you've already advanced to a third meet and greet, so to speak, already.
Right.
So yeah,
I
it
love
does.
that.
Yeah, it helps.
Yes, yes, you're able to advance much more
Quickly.
quickly, and I'm sure
Yep,
you appreciate them. You're probably even more excited to introduce them to the program managers because they've got their act together, right?
they do. They have their
So,
act together. They know how they fit and how they can provide value. So
right.
yeah, it's critical.
It's
It's
yeah,
critical.
perfect. Perfect. So, but the thing is with gathering insightful intelligence, be aware of the analysis paralysis. So you make sure to move the needle every day, even if it's just one activity. Move that needle. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis. That happens a lot. And then number 6 is demonstrating your value. Lots of companies are bidding. So why should they pick you? So you want to demonstrate your value. And by the way, I can go into that for hours and hours, but I'm going to keep it brief. You want to demonstrate your value, quantify your value, and create communications that are targeted and show value. Hold capabilities briefings with decision makers. Lunch and learn on site with decision makers, users, and the buying office. And start with small projects and build relationships. So, number 7, build strong relationships. Wow, isn't that like the key to success right there? It's really one of the most important things you can do in a business. You really need to go in person. It's really helpful to build these strong relationships. I have this client, his name is Danny, and he has won 10 contracts to the tune of $700,000 at his local VA facilities. And Danny, who's also in the water treatment business, is a master at building relationships and making money. And Danny is not a veteran, but he's an expert in his field and water treatment, and he provides his clients with peace of mind. That's worth $1 million. He provides them with peace of mind. Anything that goes wrong, he's a quick phone call away, and he understands their valuable equipment and their systems, and they know that they are being taken care of. And since his clients trust him, so Danny is often called upon for his expertise to help them write the scope of work for their upcoming needs. So he doesn't always win the contracts that he assists with, but more importantly, he continues to demonstrate his expertise and build relationships during the process, which results in more opportunities that don't go out as formal bids. So additionally, since he's often on site when something breaks and needs a replacement part or service, he secures contracts to fix them. So, something breaks, he's on site. Hey, Danny, get me a quote. And then he provides the quote, and then he gets the contract to fix them. These are things that don't go out on SAM. So in just his first year and a half in his own business, he won 10 facility contracts for $700,000. And he maintains a steady flow of credit card orders ranging from $100 to $10,000 each. And Danny is so cute. He says to me, you gotta shake hands and kiss babies. So you gotta get on site, shake hands and kiss babies. So the benefit of this trusting relationship is you get that call, just like Danny. You get to contribute to the SOW, the statement of work requirements, and you get to win contracts and make money. So I actually got a call as I was boarding an airplane. This is when I was in business with my former partner, boarding an airplane, and I got a call from one of the people at the VA for an emergency. So I got out of line, I took his call, thank God, and I was able to get out to the supplier and make arrangements before I got on to the airplane. So essentially, he needed a quote right away to fix this emergency. Thank God I got that call, because if I didn't, he probably would have called somebody else, the next person. But those emergency contracts are pretty cool. So you want to make sure you want to answer your phone every time they call. Step 8, win and fulfill contracts. Submit responses, RFPs, RFQs, response for proposal, response for quote. Answer them perfectly and on time. The government has hard deadlines, so make sure that it's perfectly and on time. And by the way, with AI now, what used to take me a whole day, I can now do it in just a few hours, sometimes a couple of minutes. So AI has really become pretty amazing. So you want to make sure that you price it right, understand the budget, and be priced competitively. You want to exceed expectations. So provide great performance. And if there's problems, you want to make sure that you keep the contracting officer informed, because you want to make sure to get a good CPARS rating, which is the Contractor Performance Assessment Reporting System. You want to invoice correctly and submit the invoice. Right now, we submit them through Tungsten. And don't make any mistakes on your invoices, because that could delay payment. And by law, they're supposed to pay within 30 days. So unless you make a mistake. So don't make mistakes, because then that payment can get delayed. And then follow up, make sure they're happy, and then make sure to see what else are they working on that maybe you can help with. You want to celebrate your successes with your team. Just celebrate and keep that positive attitude going, and then rinse and repeat. And don't forget to continue building those strong relationships throughout the process. Number 9, network. Continue building relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep bringing up those relationships.
That's very important.
Oh yeah, Jules from the VA. Jules said, Kristy, the difference between contacts and contracts is R for relationship. Isn't that cool?
I love that. I
Right?
love that. Yeah,
I love it too. I use it all the time. Thank you, Jules.
that's right.
So anyhow, you want to network and attend events and get lots of help. There are site visits. If there's a plumbing project at your local VA, they typically have a site visit, and you can go out and meet the people. The contracting officers will be there as well as the program managers and end users. A lot of times the VA they host industry days. They also host a direct access program. It's called DAP events. They have matchmaking events. There's webinars that you can attend. Join associations like the National Veteran Small Business Coalition, right? And you can find agency events on the agency's website and on sam.gov. They actually announce industry days and other types of site visits and other types of events. You can find that on sam.gov. You want to find organizations that align with your business and where buyers get their CEUs. So there are many associations that these government buyers have to attend because they get their CEUs to continue with their professional certifications. So check that out for your industry. And also you can use all these great AI chatbots like ChatGPT to find networking groups near you that make sense. So we want to stay informed. This is number 10. Stay informed. Right now, it appears there's a federal contracting revolution going on. One of my dear friends and somebody I work with very closely, Josh Frank, he says we are in a full market transformation, not just disruption. FAR 2.0 was launched by executive order on April 15th, 2025, and it's quickly coming together. But the goal of this FAR 2.0 is to eliminate non-essential regulations, simplify, speed up, and modernize federal procurement. What a concept, right? And save taxpayer dollars. That's the goal. For some of us, we don't like it so much because contracts, unfortunately, have been canceled. People are getting fired, or there's layoffs. There's numerous executive orders, and they're not going through the regular process. And agencies are facing tighter budgets. So it's just interesting seeing what's going on in this market. And Josh is calling it this full market transformation, not just a disruption. So stay informed. And this is just one of the things to stay informed about. These impacts of these most recent proposed changes to the FAR are that contracting officers are given more discretion. It's kind of cool because there's less red tape. They're able to award contracts faster and make direct decisions. So they're getting more discretion, which is kind of cool. The DOGE initiative, it's really about government efficiency and doing more with less. So there's higher expectations and faster performance. But the bottom line is that the contracting officers are able to work faster and be more efficient. And contractors, they have to be agile, compliant, and offer high value, especially now as this becomes more competitive. So another part about staying informed is new technologies like AI, artificial intelligence. That's like the hot topic of the day, right? Right. So the contracting officers are using AI for risk assessment, for market research, for decision support, for automated screening, price analysis. So, but the reality is that the government AI adoption is slow and it is highly regulated. But they are using AI, and this is just some of the ways that they're using it. Mm-hmm. And then veteran contractors are using AI. So smart veterans are using it for proposal writing, competitive intelligence, process automating their processes, even managing their relationships, strategic planning. And so the advantage to the veteran contractors is that while the government is moving slowly, veteran contractors can move fast. And that's why I developed my mission control system. A lot of that is included to address those things that smart veterans are using AI. So veteran-owned businesses may, I don't know what you're hearing, Marie, but they may become the most valuable set aside.
Yes. Yep.
You're hearing that too.
Yeah, I am.
That's a beautiful thing. So, and I'm so excited about it because nothing makes my heart sing more than veterans winning contracts, earning money, and being able to provide for their families. Take time to have that work-life balance, and being able to hire veterans and then pay it forward to other veteran organizations. It's, they can really take care of their brotherhood and their brothers and sisters, the other veterans. It's so beautiful. So since we're seeing that they are becoming the most valuable set aside, they are gaining ground in the federal marketplace because veterans is seen as their mission aligned. They're non-political most of the time, and they're seen as low risk because the government knows that they do a great job. They are less risky. So veterans are driving the change and they're leading the way to new opportunities for themselves and their businesses and their families and their teams. So it is the veterans' moment to lead. So especially in today's uncertain environment, the veterans' military experience becomes a competitive edge. They are able to pivot. They pivot so much better than civilians. So when things change, they pivot. They lead under pressure and they stay focused in the chaos when so many civilians just get lost in the chaos. So that's their competitive advantage. And the veteran businesses who adapt will lead in the next era of GovCon. This opportunity is clear. Those who are prepared, positioned, and proactive will thrive in this new era of government contracting. See, their advantage is that while others see chaos, veterans see opportunity. A pretty cool picture of chaos on the left, and then on the right is opportunity to build. So right now it's more important than ever, despite what you're hearing in the news, despite that we're hearing about people losing contracts or the veteran or the government shutdown or whatever it is that you're hearing in the news. Just focus on your fundamentals. Just keep going full speed ahead with your end goal and focus because momentum matters. You want to stay aligned with the outcome that you're building. Keep your sales pipeline full. Consistent outreach fuels visibility, relationships, and revenue. Engage in pre-acquisition activities. The real wins happen before the RFP even drops. Build agency relationships early. Track and adapt your pricing strategy. Agencies are cost sensitive right now, and they're going to be more so in the future. So ensure your pricing is competitive and clearly tied to value. Strengthen your teaming partnerships. Build a teaming stable across socioeconomic categories and sizes. This creates flexibility and reach. Sharpen your value proposition. Communicate how you solve urgent problems fast, clearly, and with low risk. Stay compliance ready. Review your SAM profile. When's the last time you looked at it? Go review it again. Your dynamics, your SBA profile, which is again the dynamic small business search. Check it out. Make sure your past performance data is updated and that your contracting language is correct, your keywords and whatever you're saying, make sure that it's all updated to what the government is looking for now. Words like efficiency are really, important right now. AI tools are analyzing these words all the time. So make sure that your profiles and anything that you have out there on the web, that they are updated. Invest in skills and systems. Invest in training that builds mastery, whether it's proposal writing, compliance, AI tools, relationship-based sales, or earning new industry certifications. So now's a great time to invest in skills of your own and in your team. So the more qualified your team, the more competitive your business. And then you want to focus on outcomes, not check boxes. Agencies want solutions, not certifications alone. Show results, not just eligibility. Okay, here are ingredients for success. I have taken all 6 steps myself, and my clients have benefited from them as well. I attribute my success and my clients' success to these 6 ingredients. Define your vision. Clearly articulate what success means to you. Visualize your desired outcome. Start with that end in mind. Set specific achievable goals and pursue them with intention and passion. Being a great sleuth, you're going to do a lot of research. It's going to serve you well. Understanding and communicating your value. Having dogged persistence. Dogged, is that even a word? Sure, it's a great word. Dogged. Don't take no for a final answer. And you know what? They're not always going to call you back. They're not always going to respond to your email. But having that dogged persistence is, that's the name of the game. Just do it. Providing top-notch service, like we have talked about, under promise and over deliver. Provide that top-notch service. Creating and maintaining solid relationships. I think we already talked a little bit about that, right?
Yeah, we did.
So my mantra is, what would love do? A lot of people have mantras, and some of them resonate with others, some don't. So this one may resonate with you, it may not. But when I ask myself, what would love do? It really helps me to show up better for my clients. I show up better for the world. I show up better for my team. And if we all asked that of ourselves, what would love do? Like every encounter, just go at it with love. How much better is your team going to be? How much happier your clients going to be? Your team's going to do a much better job for your clients. And your whole team, oh my gosh, just think about that. What would love do? And really, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So when you go at it with your heart, genuinely, it really makes a big difference. So that's why I love this from my mantra. And again, this may or may not resonate with you, but what is your mantra? Ask yourself that question. And what are you passionate about? And whatever that is, own it. Own it like I do. So I hope that you're excited to learn about this opportunity at the VA, especially for veteran business owners. Just wrapping it up, we talked about understanding the VA landscape from national to local. The VA's purchasing needs are vast, as you saw, and they're varied. So it's offering opportunities for businesses of all sizes. Preparation for the VA contracts, performing pertinent due diligence, building your bail team, getting your certifications, and being ready to scale. Gathering intelligence online and in person, research, research, research. Determining who buys what you sell, how they buy, so that you can position and win contracts. We discussed active and passive strategies to get ahead of acquisitions and secure contracts. Demonstrate your value by understanding and communicating what makes you special, what makes you stand out from the crowd, so that you get the call. The importance of building strong relationships. Engage with key agency representatives, understand their needs and solve their problems, but genuinely care about them. And finally, create a fun, awesome, profitable business in government contracting. So thank you again so much, Marie, for having me. And some really cool stuff here is I'm offering a free chapter from my new book, Government Contracts for Veterans, Insider Secrets and Winning Strategies for Entrepreneurial Freedom. And all that your members need to do is just take a picture of that QR code, and that will take them straight to the free chapter that they can download. So my book covers awesome traits that veterans learned in the military that help them to become successful entrepreneurs. Basic to advanced concepts on prepping their business for success, especially in the GovCon market. Great insights from high-level executives at the VA, and inspiring stories from veterans just like them. And you read it, there's several great veteran stories about their successes. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm so grateful for allowing me to share with your membership today. And I would love to hear if you have any questions.
The deep dive was amazing. I'm processing, all of the pearls and golden nuggets, as I call them, as our viewers are getting to know my terminologies now. But this has been wonderful, especially calling out the opportunities for veteran business owners within the VA, and for them to be able to leverage that uniqueness that they bring to the table, for the VA agent, for the Veterans Administration, is great. And the wonderful gift that you've given here on the book, the chapter. Thank you so much. Kristy, this has been amazing. And there's going to be another virtual training coming in the near future. We've already promised the previous viewership that, there will be more to come. And so with that, everyone, I am going to call this session a wrap, and we will see you next time. And take care, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Marie.